Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lex, and today I'm just going to be sharing my books that I read for the month of February 2021. So now to get started, the first book I have was Get a Life by Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And this is a story between Chloe and Red, or Redford. They were neighbors and they always had this kind of banter in the beginning, but they didn't know why they shared a mutual attraction, but wouldn't admit it at first. Over time, Chloe came to trust him with a list of things she wanted to complete due to a near accident that she almost had to deal with. And she does suffer from fibromyalgia, which happens to be a non-visible disability. She ends up taking medication for it, and it holds her back for certain things or for daily life. So she does have some fatigue and things that end up putting off her relationships that were present with old friends and an old flame. Whereas Red, he also has his own issues with career struggle and ex-flame issues. But yes, they're able to share and develop a mutual trust towards one another. It does get a little smutty, kind of unexpected, especially in a public place. But I guess, I don't know, I just ended up enjoying it. 4 stars. This is the first of a trilogy, apparently, about the sisters. So I am looking forward to getting my hands on those to complete the whole set. Now, on to the next. After that, I ended up reading Elisa James' When Beauty Tamed the Beast. And this is the story about Piers and Lynette. So Piers was an earl, and he also served as a doctor. He happened to be very temperamental-ish, and this was due to the fact that he had suffered from injury when he was young that was caused by his father when he had issues with drugs or drinking. I don't recall, but some kind of vice. And since then, he kind of became more disheartened toward people. But of course, he develops an attraction towards Lynette, who was declared ruined, but she wasn't really. And gradually, you get to see their relationship pay off. I did end up giving this 4 stars as well. So far of the fairy tales series written by Eloisa James, this was one of my favorites, one of the better ones. I only have one more to read, but this was, I believe, the second book. Yes, no. Yes, it's the second book. Excuse me. Yes, it is the second book after the Cinderella retelling, and this one, of course, is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So 4 stars. Definitely enjoyed. Afterwards, I had my first read by Beverly Jenkins titled Forbidden. And for this, I gave it full 5 stars. This is a story about Ryan and Eddie. So Eddie was from, I believe, Denver, and she had relocated to Ryan's town, which was in Nevada. And they meet under the notions that Ryan is a white man, but in fact he's a passing black man. He was biracial, and that is initially what drew me to this story, because I'm also biracial, and I feel like they're hardly represented in books or characters. So this was one of the first ones, in fact, that I read about someone who was biracial and then having to make the decision whether to be with the woman he loves, who is an obviously black woman, or to continue life as a passing white man, but still bettering the things for the black community. So this was a very enjoyable read. Again, 5 stars, first Beverly Jenkins, and I'm excited to continue her with her other books. I did end up reading 3 more this month, but I'll get into those following. After that, I ended up reading The Duke Is Mine by Eloisa James. This one is the 4th book, I believe, of the fairy tale series as well. I ended up giving this only 3 stars, mainly because I believe, right, so all in all, this was about Olivia and Quinn. I didn't really like this because it somewhat involved cheating-ish. So Olivia's twin sister was potentially going to be engaged to Quinn after the arrangements of the mother. They didn't share a mutual attraction, but they were kind of secretive, which I didn't enjoy. And yeah, honestly, I don't remember too much from this. Olivia did have, she was also engaged to someone else based on her father's relationship to another man, and his son, was engaged to her. But of course, something ends up happening to him, and so they can be together and in comfort. So, yeah, 3 stars. Wasn't the worst thing. I was able to finish it, but I wasn't very satisfied by the story, and of course, the somewhat cheating. No, that's not cute to me. So, next, I read after that. Yes, the first book of the Destiny's Trilogy by Beverly Jenkins, Destiny's Embrace, and this is about Mariah and Logan. All 3 books of this series have a beautiful cover. I don't want to go into it too much, but I gave all 3 5 stars, and this is the first one. It's about Mariah and Logan. So Mariah was from Philadelphia, and I'm near Philadelphia, so I thought it was cute, close to home. And she, considering her difficult home life, she decides to relocate. And when she does, she is hired by Logan's mother to be a housekeeper. So they are in close proximity, and then they just start to have this mutual attraction. And they only knew each other for a week, and they already knew. They just knew. And yeah, I didn't feel as if it was too rushed considering the things that happened between them. Normally I'd be like, that's a little too fast, but everything that happened between them, it was just so sweet. And she was hired under the presumptions that she was a widow, so that did kind of help with how they were freely allowed to be around each other, and it was weird. So yeah, and Logan was put off in the beginning, but it is what it is. They got together, and again, so cute. This was, again, second book by Beverly Jenkins that I read, but the first in the Destiny's Trilogy about Mariah and Logan. But I'll be getting more into this series in the next video. Afterwards, I read Love is Blind, and this was my first book by Lindsay Sands. I did give this 5 stars. This was about Clarissa, and her man was Adrian. So I don't know what it was about this in particular. Apparently it didn't get as many good reviews as I would have expected on Goodreads, because I enjoyed this truly. And this was about Clarissa being not actually blind, but she does have difficulty with sight. She is farsighted, or nearsighted, so she needs glasses to see far away. And when she meets Adrian, he was the only person to really ask her to dance after all her mishaps, due to the fact that she couldn't see. She was really clumsy without glasses, and who can blame her? That kind of was pushed on her from her stepmother, but of course they end up reconciling towards the end. All in all, again, 5 stars, and I got this on eBay. I just love that cover, the raised text. I don't know, the fact that I just started getting into these romance books, and I just happen to like pretty covers. I mean, who wouldn't? But the next book I read after that was the second book in the Destiny's Trilogy, Destiny's Surrender, and this is about Billy and Drew. Drew is the second eldest among Logan himself and Noah, and they're all, considered the sons of Alonza. Alonza is the stepmother of Logan, but she is the mother of Drew and Noah. And this was surprisingly I knew to expect it to be good, because I heard all good things about Beverly Jenkins. I didn't see one bad review for any of the books I looked into, and all happened to be saved on my TBR. So yeah, this book about Drew and Billy happens to be a woman of the night, whereas Drew, he is a lawyer, and they often met in San Francisco, but after something happens and Billy ends up getting pregnant, so she just disappeared for a while, and Drew didn't know what happened, and then all of a sudden she ends up on her door or his doorstep with their nearly 1 year old child that they had, and he didn't know because she didn't tell him. But someone was after them, and this had surprisingly a lot of action and somewhat thriller. I wouldn't say a, a full thriller, but because of someone being after Billy for the fact that she had promised her unborn child to be given away so that she may continue working as a woman of the night. She does run away from that, and the guy is just really good villain. He's just a really good villain, and the way it ends, I don't want to spoil it in this video. I'll probably go in a little bit more depth with the trilogy talk, but this was just, and look at that cover. All three books have beautiful covers. All of them, just so cute. The next book after that, I immediately jumped on to the final book of the Destiny's trilogy, and that is Destiny's Captive. This is about Noah, and he had gone through certain things in his past as well. I also gave this 5 stars, and this is Noah and Pilar. Pilar had stolen his ship, and he always intended on getting it back. We kind of got a sneak peek of this through the end of Destiny's Surrender, and this is just a continuation. There's somewhat of a timeline overlap, and then a continuation after time has passed. So yeah, and you get to see some sides of Noah that he had refused to admit to based on things that had happened in his past. So kind of PTSD, and yeah, he just was unwilling to share it. But then when Pilar comes along, a strong-willed woman, and she's also Hispanic, so they're able to share 2 languages, which is really cute. And there's also some swords play in here. This was just a nice, pleasant end to the trilogy. Also get to see Alonza as well. Well, she's present in all 3 books. She's the mother of the sons, and we get to see her happy ending as well in this. So that was just pleasant. Just everything pleasant. Then finally, the last book that I read for the month of February was Splendid. And I can't say this was a great end to the month. This was my first read by Julia Quinn. For people who don't know, but I'm assuming you do, Bridgerton series, which is now something on Netflix, and really good show. I binge watched it in a day. But she wrote the series that is based on that. This was her first publication, Splendid. It's about Alex and Emma. So Emma's from the colonies or America, and she ends up being sent off to London to return with her cousins from her father. When she meets Alex, it's very unconventional. She had saved his nephew from being hurt or killed potentially in a carriage accident because he had ran into the middle of the pavement or street, and she knocked him out of the way. But then it just seemed very there was a lot of unconsented things or non-consensual things that happened in here. Their first kiss was when they were alone, and he assumed she was a maid based on her outfit. But then he had also snuck into her room. But it wasn't till well into the second half of the book did I start to relatively enjoy this. Again, Alex, not my favorite hero. If anything, my least favorite this month. Not the best way to end my February, but it is what it is. So yeah, this was my final book of February. But all in all, I did end up buying more books, and I'm going to be sharing as well in the next video everything that I ended up buying for the month of February, because I don't know, I just all of a sudden was intrigued by all these lovely stories and discounts, in all honesty. So yeah, but I'll be sharing that in the next one. So thanks for watching today, and take care. See you next time.